Hi Michelle, how are you? Got Karen here for us this afternoon, and I've printed out the list. What do I do with it? Oh yeah, I've got it. So we'll get into it, see what shows up, see whether those diet things work for you. Do a bit on your brain. Feeling flat and unmotivated. Feels like the year for that, just saying. That's been a bit of a theme, I think, at the moment. Okay, so let's stack in your energy. I'm 100% Michelle. I forgot to see what the weather's doing over there in Reading today. So is it coming up to Christmas over there? Is it getting cooler at the moment, potentially? Okay, so we'll see what the first thing is to start with. Okay, well that's sort of funny. So the paragraph where you say these are my priorities, but if there's anything else that shows up, that's what we should start with. That's what's shown up. So I'll go find out. So okay. So there's a hidden deep survival pattern that we've just got to clear first. So it's not linked to any of this. No. Okay. So it's just something that's going to mess up with our probably mess up with our muscle testing if we don't sort it. So we'll just clear that first. Hold. Is it linked in with the celestial circuit? No. Okay. Okay. So this is more about you picking up other people's stuff because it's your sixth sense that's hyperactive. Yeah, there's a flower essence we need, which is alpine mint bush, which is, it's like a carer's fatigue flower essence. It's when you really have to start thinking about putting yourself first and making sure that what you want to do in life you're doing and paying attention to you. I might just make sure I am 100% Michelle. Hold and hold together. Hold together, and then out. Relax. That's it. Hold out. Hold. Hold out. Beautiful. Is there any fragmentation of Michelle? There is. Okay. Right. So there's a little bit of fragmentation of your energy. So we'll sort of sometimes alpine mint bush is about that as well. Yeah. Okay. So it's a big dose. It's 6 drops. Is that because we're doing a distance healing? Is it because of something that's happened recently, something from the past? So that's a past thing. So past life or just past your life? Past your life, okay. So current to 30 to 25 to 20 to 15 to 10 to 5 to 0. In utero to 0. So 0 to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, 3 to 4, 3 to 3.5, 3.5 to 4. Something around 3.5 to 4 years old. Okay. Do we need more information on that? We do. Do we do the drops first? No. Okay, so someone female, someone male, self, someone male, so sibling, father, okay, so it's something about your dad, 3.5 to 4 years old. Do we need to know anything else? Well, you do, okay. What do we need to know? What about grief gauge, developmental directory? No, something over here, okay. So need to work out where the core emotions are. Liver. Okay, is this you? Is this your dad? Okay. So the dad's energy, there was something, and don't forget, you're 3.5 years old. So this is sort of taking on the energy of a parent when you're the kid and big stuff is going on. So this can be about anything. It doesn't have to be anything that would be huge in our world now. As a kid, it can be getting a smack or being taken away from a lolly, or, you know, it can be anything. But there's self-righteous indignation, which is sort of funny for I can almost imagine a toddler tantrum with that, funnily enough. Yeah, right, but that taking away your ability to be content. Okay, interesting. Is there another one? Oh, do we need more information? Okay. Do we need to do anything about that? So we'll just amygdalarize that and see whether that clears some. So wanting to run a... So is this you or is this your dad? So it's you being self-righteously indignant. You know, just have to picture yourself at, you know, being 3-4 years old. Stopping your feet and going, this is my life. I want to do what I want to do. And you know, sort of in the kinesiology world, there's this thing called switching. And switching, there's different layers of switching. Some of them are just when you've got basic left, right, you know, sort of when we do our brain buttons and things like that, and that just helps to reintegrate the brain. But then there's the deep hidden survival switching, which is what we're working on, when a trauma switches the brain so that you don't get the full access to your logical and creative hemispheres of the brain. And sometimes that can be permanent until something happens to fix it, to change the dynamic in the brain. Still 6 drops. Didn't change the number of drops of brandy Karen has to have for you. Okay, so there's still something else in the deep hidden survival. Okay, so from that self-righteous indignation and the inability to be content, so when those two are going on, right, so maybe something's going on in your world where that's going on, which is why you're not motivated, because why would you be motivated if you're not feeling content? So it's, and again, I suppose it depends on what gives you motivation as well. For me, sometimes being annoyed is enough to give me motivation to do something. What motivates you to get things done?
Music.
Music, yeah, right. Music.
Different types of music bring out different emotions.
Yeah. So what do you
Vice
like?
versa.
Yeah.
You know, if you're feeling sad, then you listen to mellow, sort of bluesy music. You know,
Yeah.
it sort of helps
To allow the emotion to come through and
yeah. If you're sort of feeling excited or, you know, feel like dancing, you put on
80s pop music.
pop music, you know, dancing music, you know. Yeah.
So there's something, right, so at that 3.5 to 4 years old, because that's where we are, something told your little brain that you were going to be stressed forever because noradrenaline's showing up, and it just tempered or lowered that serotonin level. So thinking about the gut playing up at the moment, I might just stack in the gut, because we make, you know, up to 90% of serotonin in our small intestine. And we'll actually check that to see whether that's the case for you. Okay, so firstly in the clear, I'm going to check quadriceps. Hold the leg up for me. Beautiful. Hold the leg up for me. Good. Optimal levels of serotonin. And hold up for me. No. And hold up. No. Okay, so. And then just thinking about the ADD, you know, because you need your dopamine and feel-good hormones in order to get the brain to feel motivated to do stuff. Optimal levels of serotonin. And hold. Beautiful. Hold. Good. And once again, because the gut's playing up, I'll just ask in relation to SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. And hold. Hold. No, that one's okay. But I'll also check with the immune system. Hold. Ah, okay. Hold. 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 Okay, so that's a bit of a mess. So that might be why you don't do well on low carbs as well, because if you've got bugs that are addicted to carbs and you cut out the carbs, they hate it. They then start releasing enzymes that make you want more carbs. Sneaky little blighters. Does Scott still ride a motorbike?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just heard my hubby get home on the motorbike.
Mm.
Okay, so wanting to escape. Okay, so SIBO. So when SIBO's showing up, it's those specific carbohydrates that feed the small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. And it's often that low FODMAP diet that helps. So I'll just check it briefly to see whether or not that's still the case. Okay, so in relation to SIBO. Hold. 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 Beautiful. Okay, so in relation to any and all FODMAPs. Hold. 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 Bugger. Hold. Hold. Okay. I think we've done the FODMAPs before, but I'll check them again because it can change if you go off some of them. That can allow those things to heal in the body or detox, and so anyway, we'll have a look. And actually, before I check FODMAPs, I'll also check parasites, candida and fungus, because they will also all make you want carbs. So let's ask in relation to parasites and parasitic particles. Hold. 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 No, so parasites doesn't seem to be the thing. Candida and candida spores and particles. Hold. Okay, hold. 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 Yeah. Candida also likes a sweet environment to thrive. They love a block of chocolate. One of my clients used to wake up every morning and have a coffee with 2 heaped teaspoons of coffee and 3 heaped teaspoons of sugar.
Oh my God.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, she came and learnt Touch for Health with me about, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago or something. And then I hired her as a receptionist for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And she came in on her first day at work and I said, so would you like a coffee? She said, yeah. And I said, do you still have 2 coffees, 3 sugars? She goes, I can't believe you remembered that. Yeah, I remember the ridiculous.
Yeah. Big hit.
Candida. And hold. 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 And fungus and fungal spores. Hold. 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 So it seems to be mainly candida and SIBO. So I'll write down the 5 FODMAPs. So something else about the ADD is that if your body isn't breaking down grains and dairy, if we've got a low enzyme in the gut called DPP4, then the gliadin in the wheat and the casein in the dairy can become opioids, and they can actually mess with your brain and stop you being able to focus and stay attentive. It's basically everything on it's on the same, because it's an opioid, it's on that opioid spectrum, so it can create everything from just the tiredness and the inability to focus to having rage, roid rage, wanting to bang your head through a door. So everything on the spectrum of opioids. So I'll also check your DPP4 if these fructans, because there's a few things in the FODMAPS that are very similar to what can be happening if it's the casein and the gliadins as well. So fructans, fructose, lactose, polyols, and galactans. And I'll check gliadin and casein. Okay. Okay. So FODMAPS stands for fermentable oligosaccharides, disaccharides, monosaccharides, and polyols. So fructans. And hold. 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 Okay. So not happy with fructans. That's the one that has all sorts of things in it. It has, certainly it has wheat in it, as well as then weird things like broccoli and cauliflower and garlic and onion. Globe artichokes, I think. There's some really good things in there. Okay, now fructose. And hold, 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 hold. Lactose. Hold, hold, right, hold, 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 right. So lactose is showing up fairly majorly. It's all 5 immune pathways. Energy mismatch, body doesn't know what to do with it still. If you're a big dairy girl, you can get lactose-free stuff here in Australia. Hopefully you can over there. Polyols. Hold, 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 and galactans. Hold, 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 hold. Right, so that's lucky. So that pretty much wipes out vegans when that one shows up. That's all the, it's beans and lentils and legumes and things like that. So, okay, so the two that are showing up are fructans and lactose. So once again, that would definitely make me think, because that is dairy and grain. So I'm going to go check DPP4 enzymes. So firstly in the clear stomach energy. And hold. Sorry, good. And hold up, beautiful. Optimal levels of DPP4. And hold, yeah. So, right, so you need DPP4 enzyme to break down both gliadin in wheat and casein in dairy. I'll also check small intestine because it also creates some DPP4, optimal DPP4 levels. And hold up. No. Hold up. No. So, not optimal DPP4 enzymes. You can actually buy digestive enzymes with DPP4. Don't know if you've discovered iHerb in America, but iHerb certainly, anything with DPP4 in Australia is really expensive. So I've bought it from iHerb, cheaper than what I can get wholesale in Australia. Which is crazy. Okay, so optimal levels of DPP4. And hold, 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 good. So what I'll also do, because of the ADD, is check the, because then if that gliadin and casein, so if those molecules get into the stomach and small intestine without being broken down and it ends up going through the liver, if we've got leaky brain syndrome, then basically those gliadins and casein can end up in the brain. So just going to check in relation to the lack of DPP4 enzyme, if there's anywhere the opioids are playing up. Okay, so is that immune, adrenals, thyroid energy? Okay, so in relation to lack of optimal DPP4. Hold back for me. Right, so it's slowing down the thyroid energy. So maybe that's something along the lines, if you're having like a allergy or an intolerance reaction to a food, that'll be stimulating your energy. I remember years ago I used to have there's an old naturopathic thing where you take your pulse before a meal, then eat your meal, check your pulse afterwards and see whether or not you had a raised pulse rate. And if you did, then something you are having, there's an intolerance or a allergy to, because it's actually got your heart beating faster, so your body has a bit of a fear of it. Haven't thought about that in years.
Energy hit.
Yeah, sometimes that turns into energy and you get out and do stuff. That's a good thing. A whole block, you know, in fact. She had a whole block the other night. Some days you just need a block of chocolate.
You do.
Okay. So, so that was thyroid in relation to lack of optimal DPP4 levels. Hold back for me. That's better. Hold back for me. Good. Which makes me think then, if the thyroid's a little bit sluggish, then there might be an iodine deficiency. And if there's an iodine deficiency, there's a whole bunch of neural pathways that require iodine to do with balance and the vestibular system. It's one of the nutrients it needs. Anyway, so once again, lack of optimal DPP4. Liver, lack of optimal DPP4. And hold. And hold up. Yeah. So phase 1 liver detox is having a hard time with not enough DPP4. So the liver's basically having to break down foods that should have been broken down in the stomach, small intestine. Hold, I'm going back. Yeah. Hold up. No, liver definitely unhappy. chatting earlier on about helping the liver function, the more bitters you get in the diet. So maybe Google bitters for your diet and sort of see if there's anything you can start adding in there. And can't hurt, might help. It just stimulates the whole digestive tract and lots of stuff in the body. Okay, lack of optimal DPP4, and hold up, beautiful, hold, and hold up, excellent. Lack of optimal DPP4. Okay, focus Madonna, where was I? So, DPP4, the enzymes, FODMAPS. Okay, good. So moving on. I think we've checked it in the past, but I'll just recheck MCAS and histamine again. Okay, so in relation to mast cell activation syndrome. And hold, 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 hold. No, so that seems to be balanced at the moment. And we'll ask around excess histamines. Because histamines can build up in the brain, so of course they're not going to help with anxiety or depression or concentration or anything. No, that's good. Okay, so they're doing okay at the moment. Fantastic. So okay, so I'm going to recheck that deep in survival pattern that we started with. And hold. Beautiful. Do I need to do anything else before moving back onto the list? Let's having a look. Okay, so now the concentration of energy needs to go into the ADD stuff. So we'll do some brain integration. See what shows up. So once again, adrenals, survival, deep survival, hidden deep survival. So corpus callosum, trust. Corpus callosum, aha. So trust and trust issues. And hold out. Yeah, whooshka. Yeah. I'd rather run away than trust sometimes. Karen empathizes. Yeah, and it's actually active, so it's like actively running away. So your energy is really like, you just don't want to stand there and freeze. You actually want to get going. It's probably part of the ADD, I suppose, which would make sense. You know, because if you stay, something bad might happen. You might turn into your little self-righteous, indignant 3.5-year-old. Not allowed to do that as an adult human. Okay, trust and trust issue. And hold. Beautiful. Actually, and just because of the motivation, let's ask around optimism and motivation. And hold out. Yeah, no. So the corpus callosum connects the two sides of the brain. It's about 1 centimetre thick. Unless you're a lefty. Left-handed, if you're left-handed, it's up to 1.5 centimetres thick. But it, that's the fast neural connections between the left and right sides of the brain. Same again, escape, submission, freeze in relation to motivation. So what does moving forward mean to you? Maybe there's something about moving forward that's scary.
The unknown.
Yeah, fear of the unknown. In relation to motivation and optimism. And hold. Beautiful. Okay, next thing showing up is the frontal cortex. So that's the neural pathways go to there, and that's where we problem solve. So once again with ADD, because the energy's all over the shop, sometimes it's hard and you need dopamine actually to keep this little area up and running, and with ADD often we don't have the dopamine to stay focused and get connected and do what we want to do. And hold. It's escape again. You probably just want to get over the next few days in America. We want to get over your next few days here in Australia. It's all over our news as well. It reminds me of a line in G.I. Jane, one of the worst, best movies I watch on my treadmill once a year. I love it. Anyway, so it's Demi Moore and she's in a pub and she's having some drink with the boys. You know, have you seen it?
Yeah.
So aren't you? Yeah. So anyway, and one of the guys comes up who's been giving her a hard time the whole time and says, "You know what? I like you better when I drink." And she goes, "You know what, Cortez? I like you better when I drink." Anyway. Hold out. Beautiful. So where to next? Okay, so some of that's messing with your reticular activating system, so messing with the hormones being released when something new happens, once again with ADD, as well as the casein opioids and the gliadin opioids online. I didn't put them online. Casein opioids. Hold, 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 hold. But your body doesn't know what to do with them. So I put the enzyme we needed to break them down online, but not the actual problem itself. Yeah, so in order to break them down, you need the right combination of gut bugs, as well as digestive enzymes, the DPP4, as well as the liver functioning well. And if all of that's going well, then we break down those casein opioids and gliadin opioids. But basically what that means is that dairy and wheat can become addictive. So easy to have one more bit of pizza. Then another, then another.
Like chocolate.
Yeah.
So
Oh
easy to
no,
have
they got
one
that
of
bliss
these.
point bowed down. When was the bliss point? Was that like the 60s? You know about the bliss point? Yeah. Bloody scientists. Casein opioids. Hold, 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 and gliadin opioids. Hold, yeah. So it's both of them, which does make me suspect it's not the whole FODMAP thing. FODMAP was just a way into finding these, because the two rows, because there's 5 FODMAPs, and the 2 that showed up were the dairy and the one with wheat in. But you also have the DPP4, you've also got the opioids And you've also got the liver inability to break it down, the lack of DPP4 stomach and small intestines. Going on, so... I'll check lectins again as well. So if the lectins are there as well, it could just be it could be everything about dairy and wheat just messing with you at the moment. What was I checking? Lectins, in relation to lectins. Hold. No, that one's not showing. Yay. Okay. And histamine was okay, and MCAS was okay. Right. Okay, so back to your brain. So okay, I need to do a big goal balance for you. My brain is 100% integrated. Hold. Is there psychological reversal? Yeah. Want, need, think, safe, believe, deserve, trust. Okay, so your brain doesn't think it's safe and it doesn't think you deserve to have good brain integration. It is safe to let go of this problem. Hold. It is safer to keep this problem. Hold. Right. So once again, when you go back to say 3.5 years old and you have like a temper tantrum as a 3-year-old and you think, oh my God, the world's falling apart around me. And if the brain disintegrates and if it stays disintegrated, that's your safety measure. So it can switch off your logic or switch off your emotion or do something in your brain to make your world around you make more sense. So when safety shows up in relation to brain integration, nearly always it's because of something that happened traumatic to us as a kid or earlier on in life. And the second one was I deserve. Deserve's interesting because it's not so much a 3-year-old thing generally, it's more of a teenager concept. But I deserve to let go of this problem. Hold. I deserve to keep this problem. Hold. Okay. That's part one. The next one. Okay. The left and right sides of my brain work together to achieve my goals. Hold. No. Okay, psychological reversal, yes. Want, need, think, safe, believe, deserve, trust. This one's trust. Okay, I trust I can let go of this problem. Hold. I trust it's better to keep this problem. Hold. Okay. Yep, I still need to add in another one. With my brain totally integrated, I have complete focus and optimum coordination. With my brain totally focused and integrated, I have complete focus and optimum coordination. Hold. Yeah, okay. Is there psychological reversal? Yes, there is. Want, need, think, safe, believe, deserve, trust. This one's believe. So they're all different. Okay, your poor little brain, it's got so many little things messing with you at the moment. I believe it's better to let go of this problem. Hold. I believe it's better to keep this problem. Hold. Which to me says that some of these were set up at different times in your life with different stress and trauma going on. Like that, because they're all different, that doesn't feel like the same trauma to me. You know, your 3.5-year-old little temper tantrum or whatever it was. Ask your mum. See if she remembers anything major that happened. Oh no, it was your dad at 3.5. But honestly, it doesn't have to be big things. I had one lady, and she was this older woman, and like in her 70s, and she was coming to me for anxiety, which she had had for her entire life. And the age that showed up for her was 8 months old, and it was to do with her dad, and her dad was really old. And so he went to him and she said, did anything happen when I was 8 months old? He goes, I can't believe you brought that up. And apparently they'd been at church one day. She'd been having a temper tantrum in church, so he had to take her out, and he spanked her. And then he felt so guilty, and she threw a bigger hissy fit because she was 8 months old. And it was one of those things where it traumatized her again, it traumatized her dad again. And yeah. Yeah, so it's around that 3.5 years was the start of all that with you. So now we've got that online. Where do we need to go? So adrenals, survival, hidden deep survival, celestial circuit. So this one's messing with your celestial circuit. So lack of conscious, unconscious brain when you're under stress. So that's when we get stuck in, yeah, and that's in chronic fatigue of your celestial circuit in relation to that issue about brain integration. Yeah, and because you're such a doer, it's the doing side that's exhausted because of that. And especially when you don't have that focus and attention and can't stay switched on in relation to something, you have to go back and do it again a lot of the time. You know, it's harder work getting stuff done. So when you get stuff, it's like, thank God. But quite often, because of the ADHD brain or the ADD brain, you don't even give yourself kudos for what you've actually achieved. Got to give yourself a reward system. What would you give? Tub of ice cream. Oh my God, my hubby's an ice cream fiend.
Yeah.
If it didn't make us fat as pigs, I'm sure we'd have ice cream and pizza every night.
Allergies, ice cream's delightful.
Interesting. I heard they do really good cheeses too.
No, I don't eat cheese.
Yeah, right.
I do good chocolate.
Yeah?
Dark chocolate.
Never got into the whole algae thing.
And funnily enough, their ice cream's called Indulge.
Of course it is.
Everybody says the same thing about their ice cream and chocolate
Yeah.
from Aldi.
Hold.
Just to die for.
Hold. Okay, so that's taken it from third stage stress with the celestial circuit down to second stage stress. We've got to get it to no stress. So what do we need to do next? Or something else? Yes, our resolution chakra, essence, cranial, chakras, tuning forks, tuning fork. Okay, so up and down the central. Is there a chakra? There's a chakra. Throat, base, eighth. Okay, so which one's the priority? base. And that sort of makes sense with that celestial circuit, because it's going to be blowing your base chakra regularly if it's out. Okay, so which tuning forks do we need? Lung energy, so that's old grief, guilt, regret. And small intestine energy, so lung, small intestine. Small intestine is grandmother energy of lung energy. Okay, so there's some old sorrow in there, feeling unappreciated. Yeah, right, and not feeling nourished, not by yourself but from other people. Yeah, right, so then that little part of your brain that tries to ignore all of that builds up like a false tolerance, where you put on a happy smile and pretend to be okay with things when you're not. Yeah, and the word is being really stoic, you know, like, yep, I can put up with anything, bring it on, whatever. But, you know, it eats away at that little bit of our soul every time we put up with that crud. Feels like you're getting an extra bonus on the table here, Karen. It's lots of smiles and nods. Yeah. Ah, Silver Princess, yay. So that is, it's about when you're unmotivated and you're not, once again, you're not attuned to your life purpose. Because you know you've got lots of stuff you can do in life and you've only got one life to do it. So, well, unless you want to come back over and over again and keep redoing it. But, you know, let's get this done. So, transcend. Lack of direction and aimlessness. Okay, so we can say it's the ADD, and potentially it is, but I don't think the sugar is helping your ADD. And once again, maybe specific carbs we need to cut out, and potentially even just, you know, sort of the you know, the casein in dairy and the wheat, like those two things alone would be good to get rid of if you were to just even think of them. Okay, Silver Princess. I take responsibility for my attitudes and now choose to kindly, gently, lovingly, and supportively transcend my aimlessness and lack of direction into all-encompassing love. I make the commitment to kindly, gently, lovingly, and supportively attune to my life's purpose, act with motivation and direction, and express my love fully and freely. I take responsibility for my attitudes and now choose to kindly, gently, lovingly, and supportively dissolve my despondency, aimlessness, and lack of direction into all-encompassing love. I make the commitment to kindly, gently, lovingly, and supportively attune to my life's purpose, act with motivation and direction, and express my love fully and freely. Ah, this one. Okay, what direction? That way? That way? This way, okay. Close to the body, away from the body, so how far away? So in centimeters, inches, feet. Okay, you need to go down. I'm not tall enough. Yeah, so something about that messed with the energy here, and this part of the energy is about fight. From here down is generally about flight. But this is the energy where you're standing, you're stoic, you're putting up with stuff, you're, you know, But sometimes we end up staying and putting up with stuff that we just need to say, sorry, gone, don't need you in my life anymore. No, still need to do the feet. Okay. So the underneath the feet is the 8th chakra, so this is why we need nature. So we need to stand on grass, we need to stand on dirt or stones or rocks or sand or anything. But we need nature. We need it every day. We need 20 minutes, at least. One of those funny little things that Pretty Woman was ahead of their times with. You know, Julia Roberts pulls off Richard Gere's shoes when they're sitting in the park and she puts his feet on the grass and he doesn't know what she's doing. Yeah. And you go, man, for 30 years ago, that was sort of ahead of its time, really, or 35 years ago. Like, who thought of that? I suppose I don't live in New York, so I wouldn't think of it. Beautiful. And once again, so that was the celestial circuit. Stacking those knees again. Shoulders. And hold. Hold. Okay, so celestial circuit's back to normal. Very good. Okay, so there's a couple more little brain integration things we need to do. Oh yeah, okay, so thinking about the unmotivated in life, there's both a fear of failure and a fear of success showing up in the hippocampus. This one can come up over and over again because depending on what you've got going on, like we've got the casein, gliadin, we've got SIBO, we've got fungus and candida, and you know, we've got all sorts of things online. So what we're doing the balance around is all that complex of things. So these little gut bugs, when they're out of balance, they're messing with your brain. So there's that massive gut-brain connection. So the cleaner our diet is, the more brain can function well. So, hippocampus. In the clear and hold, beautiful. Fear of failure. And hold. And especially when you're feeling flat and unmotivated, it doesn't make the brain feel very good. So the way that some people would notice the hippocampus isn't working is if you're sort of, say at work and you see someone, you think, damn, what's their name? And at the second they walk past you, you remember, but you can't remember in that moment. But that's that fear of looking stupid in the moment. So therefore your brain raises cortisol. Cortisol's a stress hormone. It shuts down short-term memory. The second the stress is gone, you remember. So the brain does that. I don't know why it does it. Maybe as girls it's so we call someone love or honey or sweetie pie. Oh, hey sweetie pie, how you doing? I never realised how lucky guys were having mate as a thing they could use any time. Yeah, one of my receptionists years ago called everyone honey. I thought, why does she do that? And then I started realising, I'm going, oh, that's clever. Okay, so fear of failure. And hold.
That sounds like it.
Mm-hmm. There's something else with that one, yeah, it's not quite there. An essence, okay, so fear of failure linked in with an essence. Oh, really? Interesting. It's the actual flower essence of Silver Princess, which was the one we did before with the tuning fork combo. So you need the thing as well as the tuning forks. That's cool. Your body goes, no, not there yet. Thank you very much. 4 drops. Don't get picked up on the way home. So, I had 10 drops of brandy.
And I'm a silver princess.
I'm a silver princess. Thank you very much. And hold. Good. Okay. Okay, so we still need to do the fear of success as well. So fear of success. And hold. Yes, I'm not sure what that means in your life, but certainly as we grow up, parents can and friends and people that we hang around can say all sorts of things that make people feel like success is a bad thing. So it's sort of really coming back into your core, into your center, into your soul, and looking at your belief systems and working out whether or not they're truly working for you. Because so someone we were chatting to earlier on said, I'm sensitive to everything, was her comment. I can't tolerate anything. Yeah, so whatever she said, it was sort of like, right, okay, so imagine that being your belief system. Your belief system is you can't tolerate anything, or, you know, and so that becomes your life. And you believe stuff enough. So sometimes it's an idea to really pay attention to those words coming out in your head, and even write them down for a couple of days when you're giving yourself a hard time, so that you start paying attention to that stuff. Okay, fear of success. Because there's all sorts of stuff out there at the moment about success and how bad it is, and, you know, there's lots of it.
Looking down on you because
Yeah,
you're successful.
tall poppy syndrome. Okay. Yeah, so I'd be thinking the specific carbs, like really, particularly wheat and particularly dairy, especially high casein dairy, if you can get some low casein things. So just do some research about what's high in those two things. And probably I would also have some enzymes with DPP4 in them as well, so that if you're out and about and you don't have choice if you're eating out, just have them in your handbag and just take 2 with any dodgy meal, so that you start breaking that things down, because you can end up with just this, that biofilm mucoid plaque on the gut lining, because every time we're eating something like that irritates our gut, we secrete mucus to protect our gut lining, and then at some stage we have to pull all that crap off, but it's like chewing gum in there. So it takes time to get all that out. And where the veggies come in, the veggies contain a lot of fiber, So, you know, that's where you can eat like, you know, 2, 4, 6, 8 cupfuls of fibrous veggies a day just to really start, you know, sweeping all that crap out of our intestines. Hard work, but gee, it can make a difference. I mean, you can buy fiber supplements as well, of course, and probably the big thing to watch there is that a lot of them have got aspartame in them, you know, which is silly. So tyrosine is showing up being good for you. So, you know, you could easily do that. I love tyrosine. It's in, so one of my formulas is called Adrenotone. Actually, you know what can be really good for something to keep an eye out for is a supplement with, there's a herb called Brahmi and another herb called Ginkgo. So if you can get a Ginkgo-Brahmi combination, the pair of them are good for short and long-term memory. So basically the pair of them really good. And also if you've had anesthetics, then B12 and you need an activated B12, I'm sure you'll be able to Google that, but about 4 grams a day. So 4 grams a day of B12 really helps to repair the nerves in the brain. And you could even alternate it daily. So say one day do Brahmi and Ginkgo and the next day do 4 grams of activated B12 to really get those neuroreceptors firing. And because if your brain is feeling like it's missing out, it probably is. But tyrosine's showing up as being fine too. It's the sort of thing that's in a lot of my combinations that increase dopamine and energy for the brain. Okay, we're all done. So, this is a new program for this body now and in the future. The old program for this body is no longer necessary now in the future. Hallelujah and amen. Namaste, yeah. And now we'll make you back to you. I am now 100% Karen. Happy, healthy, and whole. And whole, and whole. You had a bit of empathy through that balance, obviously. 100% Karen, happy, healthy, and whole. Beautiful. Okay, Michelle, I'll get this uploaded now, and hopefully by the time you're waking up in the morning, you'll be ready to watch this. Okay, take care. Talk to you soon. Bye.